grateful. I wanna just say thank you now, just thank you now, thank you now, thank you now, thank you now, thankful. I'm so grateful. I wanna just say thank you now, just thank you now, thank you now, thank you now, thank you now, thankful. I'm so grateful.
I have to unmute. And good morning, everyone. So the talk today is about no quick fixes. I think sometimes in this teaching, we think that everything's going to happen instantly. And sometimes it does, but not always. Sometimes we have to, just sit back and wait a minute and see what happens. And I think that that's where we run into some challenges, that occasionally we sit back and go, you know what, everything has to happen really, really fast. So the journey that we're on, and if we think about Earth Day and, it's springtime and, flowers are starting to bloom and things are starting to happen, we start to see that although things have been quiet for a number of months where it appears everything's dead, what we realize really is that's kind of a percolating time and that the growth is coming. And if we would just take a breath, we would see that the growth is there. The quote today is, just as Easter embodies resurrection and renewal, and Earth Day calls us to sustain and heal our planet, we are reminded to cultivate a long-time vision for our personal and spiritual growth. By shifting our focus from immediate results to sustainable practices, we can nurture our inner soil with small, consistent changes. Immediate results to sustainable practices. And sometimes it's nice to, want something right away and run and go get it and it's done. But when we create something that's sustainable, it might take a little bit more time for us to realize the results of it, but we will realize those results and it will be well worth the time that we've spent. The journey that we're on is one of really waking up to ways that we can create a life that is powerful and positive, healthy and vibrant, something that is warm and inviting and beautiful. We want to be happy, I think, most of us. So the journey that we're on is really about finding a way to harmonize the aspects of ourself that allow us then to move into a greater expression moving forward. So as we look at some of these things, there's a book out. I don't know if it's a book or not, but anyway, this BJ Fogg has his Tiny Habits program. And he talks about, we have habits that we do every day. Maybe we get up and we pour ourselves a coffee, or we get up and we, immediately go for a run, or we get up and we go and lay on the sofa from the bed to the sofa and turn on the TV or begin to scroll through Facebook or YouTube or whatever, TikTok. What we want to do is take the habit that already exists and then add to it. So if our habit is to wake up in the morning and immediately pour that cup of coffee, what we might add to that is every morning with my coffee, I spend the time with my coffee reading something that's nourishing and nurturing to me, whether it's the Science of Mind or a self-help book or a magazine that has some great articles, something that will enrich us mentally, spiritually, emotionally. We just tack it on. So while we're having the coffee, we're doing this. So in a sense, we're multitasking, not double tasking, multitasking. But, you sip your coffee, you read a few lines, you sip your coffee. It hasn't added anything to your day, but it has added something to your life. maybe a little bit of inspiration. Maybe you read a quote that absolutely wakes you up to a new reality or a new perception of reality. So we really want to pay attention to those little habits. He calls it habit stacking. Habit stacking is a special form of an implementation intention. Rather than pairing your new habit with a particular time and location, you pair it with a current habit. So if you're in the habit of having lunch right at noon every single day, no matter what, then take a look at that and go, now what else can I do? So I have my lunch, which obviously won't take an hour, depending where you're eating, but may not take an hour. So you have your lunch, and then maybe you do a little meditation afterwards, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you've got, right? And again, what you're doing is you're taking one habit and you're adding another one to it. Well, I'm going to do meditation right after I have my lunch. I'm just going to sit back and take a breath, relax, and I'm going to do the meditation then. And what happens is you're more likely to actually do that second task because you've attached it to something that you do on the regular. So this is where we're looking at what we can do and when we can do it. Oh, one more person who's having trouble getting in today. Let me just send a thing. Oh, no, that's not the one. Shoot. Okay, my apologies. Sharon, could you send all the information with passcodes to Perry DaCosta, please? So as we journey along with this habit stacking, what we're doing is we're finding a way to create new habits, but placed in like a pairing that makes it a little bit easier to remember or to do it. So he says in here, he gives some he said his habit stack formula is after I do A, I will do B. So that's the intention. So for him, it was meditation. After I pour my cup of coffee each morning, I will meditate for 1 minute. That's doable. Exercise. After I take off my work shoes, I will immediately change into my workout clothes. That's easy. It's a plan, it's set. After I sit down to dinner, I will say one thing I'm grateful for that happened today. Marriage or partnership. After I get into bed at night, I will give my partner a kiss. And then safety. After I put on my running shoes, I will text a friend or family member where I am running and how long it will take. For those of you who run along the lake late at night or in the woods late at night, that might be a good idea. The key is to tie your desired behavior into something you're already doing every day. And you add just a little bit. You'll notice I'll meditate for 1 minute. And maybe after a couple of weeks, you find you're meditating for 5. And then you're realizing you're going into meditation. And by the time you finish an hour later, your coffee's ice cold and you have to reheat it or pour a fresh one. Whatever it is that we're doing, what we want to do is add to this and add to. So once you have mastered the basic structure, you can begin to create larger stacks by chaining small habits together. And this allows you to take advantage of the natural momentum that comes from one behavior leading into the next. So the journey that we're on is that everything is happening, but it's happening now, right? There is no future. There is no past. The only point of power is now. The future will come, but the past is done. So we want to make sure that as we're journeying forward, that we're paying attention to living in that natural flow of harmony with the divine. And by doing meditation and treatment, things like this, you begin to create space for even bigger and brighter and more remarkable things. to show up. So really, really important that we take a look at what we're doing and how we're doing it. And as we create this habit stacking, what we'll probably find is we'll notice what resistance comes up, and then we can deal with that. When the resistance is there, pay attention to it. Pay attention to it. Go, oh, I'm doing this again. What is this I'm doing? Once you have, once you've mastered it, this allows you to take advantage of the natural momentum. And this came from a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. He has written just an amazing book, because when you start to look at, we all have habits that we do, good ones and bad ones. Well, good ones and good ones, I guess. We don't want to call anything bad, but we want to pay attention to how we're living each day. We look at, doing a treatment for, let's say a peaceful work environment. And we get up in the morning and we go, oh man, I have to go to work again. I hate that place. The odds are pretty good with that intention that you're going to arrive at work with maybe a sense of anxiety, a little bit of fear maybe, or even just some frustration and anger in there. So that idea of a peaceful work environment will not happen. So what you might want to do is change it up. And when you get out of bed and you have your coffee, during your coffee, go, oh, today is the best day ever. I am so excited to get to work. There's plenty to be done and great support all around. Now you might say, but that's not true. It's not true yesterday, but that doesn't mean it can't happen today. Because in this now moment, I'm creating a new statement. I'm creating an affirmation, and I'm allowing myself to set the intention for a really good day. Now, what's interesting when we set those intentions is the day may be full of all kinds of ups and downs and obstacles and challenges in there. But because we've set an intention, what happens is the day, even with all of that, somehow flows easier than any day before it. Intention is a truly powerful, powerful tool. So as we celebrate both Easter and Earth Day, our theme is about holistic growth, right? And then quick fixes. So Easter embodies resurrection and renewal, and Earth Day calls us to sustain our planet. By shifting our focus from immediate results to sustainable practices, we can actually nurture ourselves in a way that will expand us in ways maybe we never even thought possible. So embracing the concept of habit stacking, linking new positive habits to existing routines, helps us build a foundation for steady, holistic development, right? We're setting a nice foundation, a nice rock, concrete foundation that will carry us forward so that we can actually live to our highest potential. So as we're looking at the things that we do, I want to talk a little bit about Earth Day, which will be happening on the 22nd, I believe. It's celebrated globally, and it's about reminding us about our responsibility to care for our planet. And I know some of us are, trying to really be careful about the things that we buy and the amount of stuff we use and things like that. So what we're trying to do is create sustainable practices that will allow our Earth to flourish. Now, if you go back to the spring of 2020, the Earth flourished. What was the difference? We were taken out of the equation. With no people to harm it, everything grew. Wildlife, plant life, everything just flourished. So now what we want to do is come into that going, okay, it's 5 years later. have we learned anything? And if not, then let's see what we can learn now. How can we live in balance, not only with the earth that we live on, but with the people we live with or associate with? And I would ask, how many of you actually know your neighbors, the people who live on either side of you or straight across the street from you? And if you don't know them, I invite you to go say hello. Or if you've only ever said hello, maybe invite them in for tea, cup of coffee, a donut, I don't know. Bring some chairs outside and share a beer together or something. There's a way of getting to know each other that is really, really powerful, and it has a very positive effect in the long run, because as neighbors get to know each other, you have less problems with, maybe somebody breaking into your home, or when you're away on holiday, somebody comes and takes away all your furnishings and everything. That's probably not going to happen, because you've got people around you who know who you are, where you are, and what you're doing. And so they would question something like that and call for support. We're journeying along in a way to figure out how to be the best that we can be. And that requires that we harmonize with the universe. We must remember our oneness with it. Because I'm one with all that is, it is up to me to really pay attention and to show up every day in a really positive and productive way. And that happens only if I'm really sort of awake and aware. So I have to notice my day-to-day habits. I have to notice the way do I toss my trash out the window when I'm driving down the road? Or do I save it till I get home and then sort it appropriately? Garbage, recycling, compost. Do I do that? Do I think that I need to care about the planet? Or do I think, well, I'm just one person, what can I do? If everybody thought that, we would definitely have a big problem. So what we want to do is elevate our consciousness to a place of real, true connection with not only our neighbors, our families, but also the earth that we walk on. And I think we could learn an awful lot from our Indigenous family, because when we look at just the natural attributes, the natural way of life that was interrupted for the Indigenous people, what we realize is that they were living in balance. When you look at farmers, many of them are living in balance because they wake up in the morning when the sun comes up, they go to bed at night when the sun goes down. There's a balance there. It's like, I'm getting my work done, I'm having my meal, and I'm ending my day. And I'm allowing the sun to be my guide. And I acknowledge that, every animal, every creature is somehow some aspect of me, because there's only one thing going on. And as we really pay attention, we start to see that even tiny changes have lasting and huge impacts on us. And so we really want to pay attention to that. One of the things that I read this week was about the resurrection story, which of course, we don't really teach that stuff, but in the face of adversity, there is hope of transformation and growth. So that's kind of how I see that story, is that nothing dies. It's just simply recycled, right? Everything, is created or born, lives, dies, moves back into that cycle of life. And if we will allow ourselves to embrace the idea that we are here for a moment, what am I going to do with my moment? And I can allow myself to live in a way where I'm fearful and worried all the time, or I'm in a situation where, I feel beat up and attacked, or I can live in a way that allows me to really celebrate everything that's going on, to look at all of the things that are happening, even the painful moments, and realize that even those have with them something that strengthens me, that allows me to stand stronger and taller, I could use that, a little taller, and allows us to really find our way in the world. So we want to pay attention because all of it matters. Everything that has ever happened in our lives, the good, the bad, and the ugly, all of it has brought us to now. Yeah, now. So how is now for you? Now, if it's fabulous, way, bravo, congratulations. And if you're having challenges with it, if things are still in an upset or an uproar, then allow yourself to just pause and take a breath. Know that this too shall pass, because everything does, right? If we look at the past year, the last 10 years, the last 30 years, we notice that every single thing changes. Nothing stays the same. So we allow ourselves to relax. Cry if we need to, get angry if we need to, and take time to breathe. And then to ask ourselves, what do I need? Not what do I want, but what do I need? And listen to the body's response. You know, our bodies are speaking to us all the time, but man, do we ignore it. The world around us is giving us information, and man, do we ignore it, or judge it, or criticize it, or be annoyed by it, or wish it would go away. See, nothing is going to change in the outer until it has changed in here, right? So we have to start right here within our own self. And we have to look at ourselves in the mirror and go, okay, baby, now what? And set an intention for a great day. Set an intention for something magnificent to occur. Set an intention so that you are living your very best life. Set an intention to be the best you can be. Whatever is going on in the world, whatever's going on in your life, you have the power to change it. Yes, you do. You see, all of us are created powerful, and we forgot. It's time to remember. It is time to remember. So as we begin, as we go through our daily lives, we have an opportunity to reflect on, where we're at and how we feel. And then look at, is that where I want to be? And if not, then what am I going to do differently? What am I going to do to change it or alter it? And so we allow ourselves to kind of take a breath and wake up and go, okay, what habit would I like to stack on to my morning coffee? What habit would I like to stack on right after my morning shower? What habit would I like to stack on when I get home from work at the end of the day? What is it that I'm seeking? And what can I do about that? And I think that's the most important thing to really consider, is what will I do about that? This spiritual journey is as meaningful as we make it. And the truth is, we are spiritual beings. And what we're striving to do is marry that with our human existence. And therein lies the challenge, because we know spirit, we know our spiritual soul self is all powerful, all knowing, and connected to everything. And then there's the human part of us that feels separate, that feels alone sometimes, that feels lonely. And so we have to figure out how to bring all of that together so that we can move forward. And so the key is to balance. And so we use our spiritual practice for that: journaling, meditation, treatment, classes, Sunday gatherings. We spend time with people of like mind so we can have deep conversations, meaningful conversations. We want to make sure that whatever it is that we're doing and how we're doing it is leading us to our greatest vision, not harming it, but taking us closer to it. So I invite you to really explore where you are and where you think you need to have a quick fix. You know, maybe you want to lose 20 pounds and you want it done yesterday before you even had the thought. And here you are today going, oh man, how am I ever going to get this done? Or maybe you want that new job, but there's a part of you that doubts anybody will hire you. Again, that has to be interrupted. And by habit stacking, you can apply it to something that's positive for you and create that positive intention. So as we come to the end of this, let's join together in consciousness and do a little meditation that will just hopefully allow us to take it a little bit deeper. So I invite you to take a deep breath. And one more deep breath. And as you relax into this moment, what I know is that there is one power, one eternal presence, one divine something. It is everywhere present equally. It is all powerful. It is all knowing. And so with that in mind, I feel the energy, the presence within me. I know that I'm a part of it. I know that the legs I stand on are the ones that carry me forward through many opportunities, that the land I walk on feeds me, body, mind, and soul, that the sky above me is warm and inviting, beautiful, blue, and brilliant. And everything in my life has brought me to today, has brought me to this now moment, and I'm truly grateful for it, even with all of the challenging times that occurred in the past. And by being equal to it, being happy with it, realizing that it's serving a purpose, I surrender. I go, yeah, let's do this. My choice is to create a beautiful life, a life that is warm and inviting, exciting and liberating. Are you ready? Are you ready to live your best life? Are you ready to be a shining light in the world, transforming consciousness through awakening many people to a new truth, a new idea? Not necessarily new, but ancient wisdom. Whatever we do it with a loving heart. We do it with compassion and kindness. And as we do that, blessings abound. Blessings abound. So let's take a deep breath in. One more time. Acknowledge those blessings with a grateful, grateful heart. All is well. And so it is. Sharon, can you make Pat co-host, please? So she can unmute. There you go.
Good morning. We now offer you an opportunity to financially support your spiritual home. Let's begin with our abundance affirmation. Let us say it together, please. As I give, so I receive. My good now flows to me in a steady, unbroken, ever-increasing stream of success, happiness, and abundance. I am blessed. Blessings abound for all life everywhere. I am grateful. As a charitable organization, we offer many ways for you to support your spiritual community. You can through e-transfers to admin@cslontheLake.com, on our website, cslontheLake.com, and click Donate. And you can send a check to Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, 20 Bonnie Lynn Court, Toronto, Ontario, M1K 3A4. And now we'll listen to the song, Love Cover Me.
As time's unfolded